Welcome to Tokyosaurus. So what's up in Japan? Well, not Dragon Ball FighterZ because this was just released into the wild a few days ago for everyone in the world except for Japan, so for once we can finally say, for a Japanese release, we got it first. But we finally got the full story to the super hyped Android 21 character designed by Akira Toriyama himself. Android 21 is pretty much the main character for Dragon Ball FighterZ, so the big question is, how does she fit into the Dragon Ball universe or the Dragon Ball canon? But before we go into that, I just want to give a quick shout out to Amino Apps. If you haven't checked it out before, Amino Apps is a cool place to connect with others that share your interests, and they basically have a community for every interest. Like this DBZ Amino community we have here. If you want the most awesome place to discuss, show off, or just chat with people who are into the Dragon Ball FighterZ game, this is the place. Now this game launches with 24 characters, but 8 more will be added later in the year. Which character from the Dragon Ball universe do you want to see added next? Post on DBZ Amino with your character choice and why you chose them along with the hashtag Tokyosaurus, and I'll feature my top pick in a future video. But anyways, let's get right into Android 21's story. First of all, if you're still wondering when Dragon Ball FighterZ actually takes place in the timeline of Dragon Ball, even though it's called FighterZ, it actually takes place in Dragon Ball Super's timeline. It should be sometime after the Universe 6 arc and sometime before Future Trunks arc. Bulma looks exactly as she did in the Resurrection F movie. Goku and Vegeta are both wearing their regular clothes. Frieza has returned before the events of the game, and there was mention that Gohan has recently begun training again under Piccolo. But anyways, the story starts with Android 16 being mysteriously revived along with a mysterious army of super androids who look exactly like Goku and friends. Since we're talking about Android 21's story here, we will be going into spoilers for the game, so you have been warned. So at first, many of us thought Android 21 was just putting up a front to trick everyone into thinking she's a good guy. But it turns out, she actually has split personalities, one being a super evil villain trying to turn everyone into sweets and absorb their energy, and her true personality being a super kind and motherly woman who is basically the exact opposite. This split personality was in one body, and the longer she goes on without feeding, the more her evil side gains control. She was created from the cells of all the Z-Fighters as well as Frieza, Cell, and Majin Buu, and it is believed that she inherited her desire to devour powerful warriors from the traits of the Majins when her creator added Buu's cells to her. And because her urge to feed makes her take on a different persona that opposes her true nature, it's a constant struggle for 21 to suppress that persona, and has put her under severe stress. She actually repaired Android 16 to stop herself from going mad. But there is also another huge reason why she repaired Android 16. And this is where Android 21 really connects herself to the canon. And it was that before she became an android, she was a mother and she had a son, and later, her son became the model for Android 16. After she realized that, she wanted to have him back by her side even if it's just an android that looks just like her son. And that is basically her whole motivation as a character, as she wants to fix herself and live together as a family with Android 16. So basically, she started off as a regular old android built with many powerful warrior cells. Those cells malfunction and go berserk on her, she develops split personalities, and eventually she just wants a life with her son. Later on, the evil 21 tries to eat Cell, and having no option left, Android 16 sacrifices his own life to try to stop her. The good Android 21 becomes so upset with the death of 16 that she physically split into 2 Android 21s, one to contain each of the personalities. But later on, depending on the ending you get, she sacrifices herself to ensure Goku's spirit bomb hits the evil Android 21 to make sure she's completely erased. At the end, someone suggested that, oh, maybe they can resurrect the good Android 21, but of course that would mess up the canon. And Goku just suggests that they talk to Lord Enma to make sure she gets reincarnated, which means we might actually get to see a reincarnation of Android 21 later on in Dragon Ball Super or whatever comes next. It's sad that both 21 and 16 didn't make it out of Dragon Ball FighterZ, but that was probably the only way to use them in the story without messing up the timeline. If you haven't looked into or tried out Dragon Ball FighterZ yet, I definitely recommend giving it a look, because if you're like me and haven't played any fighting games before seriously but is a huge fan of Dragon Ball, this game makes it very easy to get into, and the combat is a lot more satisfying than the Xenoverse series. Anyways, what did you guys think of Android 21's character fitting into Dragon Ball canon and Dragon Ball FighterZ? As usual, let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up before you leave, subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to be updated with the latest that's going on in Japan, and I'll see you guys in the next one.